How you doing there, big guy?
I'm doing fine. This is not where we wanted to be. And I'm very. I'm sorry about the situation. I have personal relationships, really good ones and long ones with the coach and the GM, and we had a team that we had much higher expectations than this. But this is part of the league. And you know Raheem, so we've got to now reset a little bit and try to win some football games.
What's the biggest frustration though about this season? Getting off to an 0-5 start after starting off slow last year, then getting a little momentum at the end of last season.
Yep. So I think 3 years in a row, right? We were 1-4 2 years ago, 1-4 last year, and then 0-5 this year. So you get to October, and all of a sudden it's not an uphill climb. It's even more than that. But last year, really, we wanted to see the year play out. We wanted to see how we could, improve the team as the year went on. We were 6-2 in the last half of the year. They weren't phony games, Key. They weren't games. We played the 49ers at the 49ers. We played the Saints at New Orleans. We played Carolina at Carolina when Carolina was still in it. Won all three of those games and played well. Played, top 10 defense in the second half of the season, top 10 offense in the second half of the season. Liked our offseason. Dan and Thomas set it up in a way. We ended up, Todd Gurley's come in, Dante Fowler's come in. We had a good draft. So we had high expectations. So to get here and to get ourselves to 0-5, it was very disappointing. Really hard on the fan base, but also hard on the team itself, as you can imagine.
Rich, how do you handle situations when your owner, Arthur Blank, comes out and says that he hopes Matt Ryan will be a part of the future moving forward, but yet he won't make those type of decisions? What is the future for Matt Ryan? What can we expect?
Yeah, so with Matt, listen, and Key knows this, having played in the league long enough, you're blessed when you have a quarterback that wins football games and wins them as consistently and for as long a period of time as Matt Ryan, and then is as good a leader as he is. So in Atlanta, we're very, very fortunate to have Matt Ryan. But you have to always say it the way Arthur said it, because you do have to let people come in and look and evaluate. Doesn't mean Matt Ryan will not be a part of the organization going forward, because Matt Ryan has earned it. He is a very good football player. And when you look at this season, if you look at the first 3 weeks of the season, Matt played at a very high level. His numbers were excellent, not good, excellent. Last two games, we didn't play as well on offense. And always that burden falls back to the quarterback. But as a fan of a player and a person and a leader, that for me, Matt Ryan, he checks a lot of those boxes. I know what the franchise looked like the year after Michael had his issue in 2007, and Michael Vick and had to leave the franchise. Bobby Petrino had been the coach, left the franchise. I know where the franchise was, and I know who helped get us out of there and get us to truly one of the winningest franchises. That was Matt Ryan.
Rich McKay, Atlanta Falcons president, CEO, and my former general manager, Super Bowl winning champs in Tampa Bay. Rich, when you look at Raheem Morris, who's on the sideline, taking over in an interim position, and moving forward, what will be the process in terms of selecting the next general manager, head coach, and will Raheem be in the mix as we move forward to possibly be the head coach?
Yeah, so, Key, I think for us, for Arthur, we will take our time. As you know, if you look at all of the protocols for the NFL, you can't really do anything until the season's over. So I've never really kind of been in this interim situation like this other than the Petrino situation, and that was with 3 weeks to go. We've got 11 weeks to go. So for Raheem, it's a really good opportunity. He does get to lead the team and step out front for a long period of time with a substantial body of work. Which is cool, and yeah, could be a part of his case, if you will, for the job. I think for us, we'll take our time, we'll do our research, we'll be ready to go, and we'll be ready to go as soon as that season's over and we're allowed to do what we can do from an interview standpoint. It won't be. A lot of people want to always say, well, shouldn't you hire the general manager first and then let the general manager hire the coach? Listen, I've seen it many different ways. Thomas Dimitroff was an incredibly successful GM for us for 13 years. We wanted to hire the GM first when we hired him, but Mike Smith we liked as a candidate, and we decided on Mike Smith before Thomas. And then what we did is we said to Thomas as we got ready to hire him, hey, why don't you make sure you talk to Mike Smith before we sign the contract and see if you guys are going to, see eye to eye. And they did. And it turned out to be a really good partnership. Mike and Thomas won more games together as a GM and a coach than anybody in our history. So people will tell you there's a formula to this, Key, but there isn't, because the timetable and the fact that there are other clubs competing for coaches at the same time always makes things happen a little, not as predictably as you would think.
Do you think you would? And I know this is a tough question right now, but the last 3 head coaches have been defensive-minded head coaches.
Yep.
Do you think that maybe you look for, I don't know, a Sean McVay type and an Eric Bieniemy from an offensive standpoint, or does it matter, I guess?
Yeah, so, we've done a lot of work over the years. We always do this work. When you look at coaches, almost every year we update it on, who the successful coaches are. Are they coming from the offensive side? Are they coming from the defensive side? Are they coming as special teams coaches? How many years have they been coordinators? Have they been prior head coaches? We've got all that analytics, and it really is pretty equal. But in our case, we went in last time with the idea that, hey, let's look and see, if there's somebody on the offensive side that could work for us. But Dan Quinn was an outstanding candidate, 2 Super Bowl appearances in a row in Seattle as a defensive coordinator, and a resume from a leadership standpoint and a reference standpoint is incredible. So, yeah, we'll look. But I would say to you that if it wouldn't mean that you should just go offense because we've gone defense.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.